boogie sookie now. Hey! Come on, baby. Hey there, sugar dumplings. Let me tell.
Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of free virtual tastings here at Henry & Son with me, Joe Mott. Welcome to spring, everyone. Welcome to spring. It's finally feeling like it, even though we've been here for about 2 months, and summer's right around the corner. I wanted to find beautiful wines that you can celebrate these warmer temperatures with, but also I love to learn, I love to taste, and I love to teach. And I always find that's easier to do when there's a little bit of a tie that binds, what you're drinking together. So I figured we would start with white wine and move our way on to these canned goodies here. But I'm going to start in northeastern Spain, a really small region called Alella that literally is north of Barcelona. If you're driving through Barcelona on the coastline there, and the Mediterranean Sea is shiny and beautiful off to the east in the distance, if you sneeze, you're going to miss Alella. That's how small it is. They're literally less than 200 hectares under vine presently. Oriol Artigas is making some of the most vivid, beautiful juice, I would say in all of Alella, but I'll just say it, in all of Spain. I was at a tasting in Chicago maybe about 5 years ago, and went around, tasted all the juice, and at the end of the tasting, of course, everybody asks, what was your favorite wine? What was your favorite table? Who was your favorite winemaker? And usually that's a hard thing to kind of get your head around, like, what was my favorite? I was like, no question, out of 50 tables, probably 5 or 6 wines a table, Oriol Artigas' wines are the most candid, honest, bright, filled with life. We're so happy to have his wine in the shop. So this is a cuvee that he makes called La Rumbera, which is made from about, give or take, 7 different parcels in any given vintage. We have the 2018 currently. And he showcases a grape called Panza Blanca, like no other in the region. Panza Blanca is a native clone of Xarel·lo. So for those of you who know the Xarel·lo grape from having had cava or blends with Xarel·lo in it, you'll notice some similarities, but it definitely is its own unique beast with like a lot of acidity, very bright, minerally. Most of his Panza Blanca is planted combination of different soils, but in this bottling, it's granite and sandy soils, which is awesome because the palate is like with this sense of wanting to be fluid, but the granite really does allow for like these like Meyer lemon notes and all this like pockety texture to really brighten up in ways that if it were a different type of soil, that wouldn't be possible. And he's doing it all in stainless steel. He's adding no sulfur to the wine whatsoever, and unfined and unfiltered. So let's give it a little taste. Wow, pears. You can definitely tell the sea is close to these parcels. A lot of lemon, a lot of like, not even lemon curd. It just smells like it's going to be filled with life. Man, come on, Oriol. Dry, medium bodied. We're sitting at about 12% alcohol here. And this is lean, minerals in a bottle, delicious, delicious stuff. It's all really compact, kind of powerful, yet it's light and lean, if that makes any sense. It's oxymoronic in that way. This would be great with, name your maritime fare here. Oysters, shellfish, seafood, light, even if it's just like maybe not maritime, but if you're having walleye over this Memorial Day weekend or something like that, this is perfect for that kind of fare. You could also do something like grill up some chicken and put it on a salad. It would be awesome with that too. It's very fresh and willing to pair with a lot of different spring and summertime fare. Hats off, great work, Oriol. Holy cow, per usual. Wine number 2. Now the tie that binds here, Oriol, he does work with other grapes. There's some red grapes that he works with, and 1 or 2 other white grapes. But he started with Panza Blanca. Here, Statera cellars, we're in Oregon now, across the pond, and across the whole swath that is the United States. Statera used to be a Chardonnay producer until they got, I don't want to say bored, but they're creative. They always want to be learning, making new things for us to drink. experimenting with deliciousness, if you will. And so this is their, hold on to your hats, Pinot Gris from just west of Portland in the Willamette Valley. Now let's go down south and halfway between Portland, south of Eugene, and we're very close, we're kind of between Portland and the California border, some Riesling. And then yes, top that off with some apples coming from a local cidery. And you get this and the apples are done in wood, so they're a little bit funky. So you have this funky cider done with fresh, bright, aromatic, dry grape varietals. The result, less than $30, 10% alcohol, brunch wine par excellence, aperitif wine par excellence. This is fantastic stuff that is when you don't know what you're in the mood for, am I in the mood for cider? Am I in the mood for something maybe not so high in alcohol, maybe a wine, bubbles, I don't know what I want. This is what you want. It's so good, low sulfur and unfiltered, and it's awesome stuff. It's called Quimera Lares. So get your hands on some Statera. We got a case of it. It's great stuff, and I love how light it is and just flirts with off-dry. Wonderful with food, but definitely drinkable on its own. So Statera, Cellars, Lares, Quimera. Good stuff. I mentioned apples. So the tie that bound these was the fact that they were focusing on one grape, and then they started to go off into other lands for our benefit. Apples bind these two. I came into the shop and could not believe when I saw that we have Ancho ciders in cans available for our drinking pleasure. So Ancho, quick backstory. I was in DC 3 or 4 years ago doing some wine work. And I had a celebratory event that I wanted to do. And everybody was going to ask, where are you going? DC's got all these great restaurants and shishi places. And I'm I'm going to Ancho Cider Bar to enjoy their Basque-oriented and influenced cuisine and tapas. And they have a list a mile long of cider. I couldn't even drink or taste a quarter of it. And then their Calvados list is a mile long. It's an amazing place to be if you love cider. Well, they just recently got into canning some cider projects, and we are a better shop for it. So thank you, Ancho and Tradition, for getting these here. The first one I'll talk about is this Grand Cru. We sell it in single cans. And the Grand Cru it's West Coast meets East Coast, really. We have apples coming from Washington and apples coming from Virginia. The cider's made, it's aged in barrel, and you get this beautiful, almost like a Belgian beer, kind of yeastiness. It's fruity, it's very appley, but it's not too funky, yet it's not too clean like some American ciders can be. It's just really kind of rich. This is 6.9% alcohol, and it's got this richness to it, but it is dry, just flirting with off-dry, kind of like the Statera Cellars here. And this is just, I couldn't believe when I saw that we have Grand Cru cider in cans. I was holy cow. Holy hats, Batman. Next, Hereford Gold. We serve this in we sell this in 4-pack cans. And if I mention George Clooney, you can be into cinema or not into cinema. And you know George Clooney is an actor, right? And Tom Oliver in the cider world is everyone knows who Tom Oliver is. He made part of this cider, so there's UK juice in here. And then part of it is from Pennsylvania. All done with native yeast. Part of it is aged in oak, the stuff that's coming from Tom Oliver's cellar, I reckon. And then half of it is in stainless steel, which is good because it kind of mitigates a little bit. Tom Oliver's ciders are usually really funky, barnyardy, cheesy, UK style awesomeness. And so then you get this clean little Pennsylvania cider situation, and it's just flipping adorable, delicious. It is really tannic, so you need to like a funkier cider. And what's great is, yes, can you crank this into a glass and enjoy all the aromatics and all the complexities? You can. Can you just chug it and enjoy it or not chug it out of a can? Yes, you can. Delicious stuff. Hereford Gold. Can't believe it's in the shop. Lastly, District Dry. So District Dry is made from all apples that are within 100 miles of Washington, D.C. So you really get this portrait of what the area is capable of, which is really cool. It's all done with native yeast, all in stainless steel to keep it bright and clean. And you get, like, of course, all these really, really bright, almost unripe apple essences. in a package that, if you don't love a funky cider, but you want something artisanal, this is for you. It's excellent stuff. On show, they're just making great ciders, nothing added other than apples, of course, and sometimes a little yeast, sometimes a little sulfur, depending on, what type of cider they're making, because we thankfully have 3, but they make like a gazillion different ciders. Such great stuff for springtime and the summer to come. The tie that binds. Enjoy. Be safe this Memorial Day weekend. And from my glass to yours. Cheers, everyone.
Oh, suki, suki.